Yes, yes you are. Oh, hey, hello. I actually didn't notice you clicking on the video and actually watching it. And anyways, what we're seeing now is an adventure. And the special thing about this adventure is it was programmed by a couple of guys in a couple of weeks with the Visionaire engine. And the good thing about this engine is you can do it too, and this is basically what this is about. I'm about to show you the bare basics of this program and how to end up with something similar to this, or hopefully even better. That's the plan. So yeah, first of all, let's close this. First of all, everything I am about to say is covered in detail on this website. There was a guy named Glens, and he did a great job on describing the basics of Visionaire. This is where you can see the tutorial and where you can follow along if you think I'm rushing through the thing. Anyways, this is basically Visionaire with all the details and with all the scenes you can see. We got different scenes and menus and different characters and different outfits and walking and stuff. And what does it even mean? Let's start at the beginning, basically. So this is basically what you can see every time you load up Visionaire. Create a new game with minimal configuration, load an existing game, or load a recently opened game. It's pretty self-explanatory. I have to disagree with that recommended here, because while this mode is great to actually get to know the engine and what it does, if you really want to create your own game, you have to create game. So don't take this selection as only recommended for experienced Visionaire users too serious, because you have to start with this one basically if you want to learn something. If you want to do something by yourself, this is the way to go. I actually recommend that one. We press continue, and you of course have to save it somewhere. I just override the tutorial because I haven't done anything in it yet. Alright, this is our working space. We got everything we need and nothing is in it yet, which is a perfect way to start. You might notice if you select run game right now, it'll close down immediately, because you actually need a few things in order to actually even run the game. The first of all is obviously you need a character, or some character. Second of all, you do need some sort of interface to control the character and let the character interact with the object, or let the player interact. And the third one is obviously you need some sort of scene or menu or graphic. You can't have a blank screen. It is up to you where to start. I like to start at the characters because that is actually, I don't know, I kind of like doing the characters first. It's a personal preference, but you can start wherever you like. This tutorial, however, is about how to do the character animation and how to set up the character correctly. So you can see there are no characters. The character button is here, the little character, obviously. We got no characters so far, so we create one with a plus symbol and rename it right away. Let's main guy. Why are we renaming it? Because depending on your project, you will have a lot more characters in there, and you still want to have some sort of overview over the whole game, so I recommend actually renaming the stuff into stuff you can recognize easily. Same with the outfits. Outfits are basically, outfits are basically outfits. Here an example. This is normal. Then the next outfit could be tuxedo, and the third outfit might as well be bathing suit. And basically those are different graphics for the character's outfit, or how the character looks, or different states of the character. Like if the character is wearing a tuxedo instead of his normal street clothes and stuff like that. We don't have that right now, but you can do this. If you open up the normal folder or an outfit folder, you can see walking animations, standing, talking, random, and character animations. Walking animations are basically, obviously, the animations of your character walking. Standing animations are, standing. Talk animations are also talking animations. Random animations are animations that are played if you don't do anything in a while in the game, and the character is kind of bored and he whistles or look around and stuff like that. That's a random animation then. Character animations, this is basically a folder where you drop in animations you might need later. For example, a use animation, or an animation where the character is interacting with another object. Every animation you have to call yourself. Walk, standing, talk, and random. Those are basically all automatic animations. They are called by the engine by default. The character animations are animations you have to call yourself. So let's start with a walking animation. We got front, back, left, and right here. Of course, you could press plus and import a single frame, and that would be fine. That would be totally fine to do, but now you have to import the rest of the animation. I mean, that would be enough for layout purposes, but we want to import a full sequence, a full animation. So what we're about to do is load frame sequence. And going to graphics, heroes, I choose myself from a few years ago, walk, and I know it's the downwards walk. So those frames are the animation for the downwards walk. It doesn't matter which frame I select from this certain sequence. I just select the middle one, I press open, and you can see, because of it being numbered, it starts at 0 and it ends at the last number for that specific animation. And if I press play, you notice the animation is running, but it is running too fast. This is because if you click on properties, those are the little thingies right there, you can see the pauses in between the frames. And if we put them a little bit higher, like 120, it actually looks more of a walk and not of a wild run. Obviously, those are only like 8 frames, so of course it will stutter a little bit. It's basically stop motion what you're seeing here. An important thing to notice, let's do the back animation. Visionaire works best with PNG files, PNG with already an alpha worked into it. Visionaire used to work with color, but for some reason, sometimes it's buggy, sometimes it works. I made the best experience with a PNG, basically taking Photoshop and deleting that and save it as a PNG works totally fine. But let's load the frame sequence again. Heroes, Suro, walk, walk back. Okay, it's too fast again. 120, that's right. I'm not going to do a left animation, and I will explain why in a second. Let's do the right animation instead. Graphics, heroes, Suro, walk, and right animation. Okay, let's set it to 120 again, and this looks good. So basically why I'm not doing a left animation is simply because I don't have one. But this isn't a problem. I mean, we could basically flip the whole images and load it into the left animation, but Visionaire can actually do the work for us. If we just say mirror following animation and then select the right one. and it basically mirrors everything from the frames to the actual frame rate to the pauses in between the frames. So this looks nice enough. Now we can do the standing animations. In my case, I don't have a standing animation. I only have a single frame. So of course, if you have a sequence, you're gonna use a load frame sequence again. But since I only have a single frame for the standing animation, I'm just doing it with this frame. Back, okay. I don't have a left one again, so I import the right stand and left mirror following animation right. Okay, and you notice I don't need to put in a number here because I don't have a frame sequence. It does nothing. Okay, those are basically the most basic animations. You can see that talk animation doesn't have any preset directions. We do have a talk animation, so we're gonna do them as well. I am gonna add 4 animations. This is front, this is back, this is left, and of course the last one should be right. Now the same things start again. We're gonna import our talk animation. Okay, looks too fast again. Let's take 120. That looks better. Back. The back animation is somewhat special, and I'm gonna explain why in a second. Let's import it first. Talk. Okay. So for this specific adventure, what happens right here is because you can't see the mouth opening and closing like in the front animation, you only basically could do 3 frames, which is heads up, heads down, and heads in the middle. But if I play it now, it kind of looks stupid. I mean, I basically could import the frames again and basically move around the frames, but I don't like that. I like easy work. So what I can do is I can say that it should play in a random order. If you do that, it actually looks much more dynamic, kind of. I mean, it still looks a little bit silly, so let's make it a little bit slower to take out the energy, and yes, that actually works nice. We don't have a left talk again, so let's just import the right talk. Talk and right. And 120. All right, now the next important thing is you might have noticed that this direction of animation is empty. That needs to be set up. Basically, if you walk in the scene and you walk downwards and the character is facing you, you want, if the character then speaks, obviously to speak in the same direction. So you have to set up this correctly. This is back, this is left, and this is right. Right now the direction of animation has 45 degree angle steps, and this can be actually set up. I'm just gonna show you how. Settings. You can actually take bigger steps or smaller steps. If for example you say I want 10 degree angle steps, you have much more directions to work with. But now you also have to do the animations for that. If you really want to go that length, you have to import different animations in that. It will look smooth as hell, but I wonder if it's worth it. For that adventure, for the Halloween adventure, obviously it wasn't. It wasn't an option, so we just did 45-degree angles. And even that would be too much for this adventure. 90 degrees would have been normal, but 45 is kind of the default value, so we're fine with that. We don't have a random animation, so we're gonna leave that empty, and we don't have a character animation. Well, actually we do. We do have use animations. Let's call this use front. This one use back. It's kind of important to write what is what. Use left and use right. And obviously let's set this up again. Back and front. And what basically happens now is use, this is front. Okay. This is back. Back. And again, I don't have a left animation. You see, it's kind of always the same with characters. Characters are kind of easy to set up. Yes, and the left one is mirrored. Use right. Okay. Also, your best friend while doing work like that is Control and S or save. You want to do this often because Visionary got a lot more stable, but it still can happen once in a blue moon that you just crash. And you don't want to lose all the work. I mean, we did like, what, 20 minutes of work right now? And if you would crash right now, all this work would be lost, and you don't want to have that. So save often. The last thing we need to do to make the characters work is to actually say what point is actually the point where he's standing. And to do that, we click on Animation Center, and you can see this little, it's a rather big cross, this big cross, and we're gonna put it right here where the feet are. Okay, I don't have to do the left animation because the left animation is the mirrored right animation, so it also mirrors obviously the animation center. Front, back, and right. Front, back, and right. And obviously do the same for front, back, and right. This looks like guesswork, and basically it is. If you have more than one animation, you can actually do something like this. You can harmonize with other character animations, which is a great thing to do. I usually set up the standing animations first because those are easy. You can basically see where to put them directly. And right. And if I take the front walk now and I click on that, let me bring it up here. You can say adjust to, and here I can select the stand front. And what happens now is, with the cross, I actually dragging around the stand front. And if I press play, I got a much better feeling of where the cross should be on the walk animation. I can also use the cursor, the arrows, to fine adjust the animation. And this is a pretty good spot. And I click on OK. And what happens now is the animation is kind of like centered based on the front animation. This can also be done with the back. Adjust to back. And let me just press play again. And I like to use the arrows because those are pixel perfect. Let's take this. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, and obviously the right animation as well. Adjust to standing right. Press play. And usually I just would look at the head, but right now I think the feet are the better match. This should be fine. Okay. And done. And basically this has to be done for every animation as well, if you want to be kind of exact, which you of course want to do. So this is how you basically set up a character with all its animations and with the animation center and with the different jobs of the animation: walk, standing, talk, and stuff like that. You will do that for every character you will have in the game. Sometimes you need less animations, like sometimes you don't need a walk animation, or sometimes you don't need a talk animation, but this is the basic thing and it always works the same. You import the animation, you adjust the center, and you make sure that the direction of animation is set correctly. So yeah, there are other things as well, but those will be covered in a later tutorial. Because they have to do with interfaces and scenes and stuff like that, which obviously we can't do just yet because we don't have that. If you want to check out the tutorials of GlenFX, feel free to do so. I'm basically doing the same he did, but in video form. He did a great job of basically documenting the basic steps back when nobody knew how to actually use Visionaire. I hope you had a very good learning experience here. I definitely had fun making it, and I will see you later.